Very recently, I've been asking myself, am I having enough fun with this hobby? Looking around social media, we are inundated with miniatures that are painted phenomenally, or quickly, or maybe both. Admittedly, I've played this game as well. However, after trying exceedingly hard to paint a couple of projects to the absolute peak of my ability, I decided to put all of that pretense aside and just have more fun. Hey there, hobby friends. I'm Jared, and this is Caffeinated Miniatures. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Ask yourself, are you having enough fun with your hobby time? I felt like I maybe wasn't, so I grabbed the zaniest, most ridiculously fun model I had and set about painting it. Yep, I painted a squig, because nothing screams fun like these bouncy, toothy bastards. I got and assembled these nearly a year ago when I was just fresh into the hobby, and they weren't exactly assembled particularly well. But I wasn't going to let that slow me down. Fun was the objective, not quality, and certainly not perfection. In order to ensure max fun, I decided on a couple of things. First, don't worry about technique or result. Just enjoy slapping paint on plastic. Next, single session. Don't look at the clock. It'll be done when it's done. Red felt right for this squig, so I started with that. Red can be a tricky color, particularly over black. I just memed it on the skin. Yep, 2 thin coats. Ensuring this burnt red had a fully opaque covering. Even though these fellas live in caves, I wanted to juice up the vibrancy, so I began mixing in some golden yellow to the burnt red. I didn't worry about blending anything here. I just built up the volumes, following where the light would hit them. I continued adding golden yellow to the mix until the final highlights were much closer to yellow than red. Yet, because most of the skin is red, it still reads as red. I don't often follow box art, but I just kind of like the red squigs. What's your favorite color for these toothy fellas? Skin? Check. Was it fun? Check, check. On to the next thing, some squig lips and gums. This seemed like a great opportunity to bust out some of my favorite colors, purple and pink. I grabbed Pro-Acryl Dark Purple, which has a great, dark, and cool hue, then slapped it across the gums and the lower lip. For the gums, I added some highlights with pink. Then on that lower lip, I mixed in pale yellow to the dark purple. This left the gums and lips looking like they belonged together, while maintaining some differentiation. Bright and vibrant gums, and darker, desaturated bottom lip. Most importantly, purple is awesome. When I sat down to paint a squig, I looked through the ones I had, to see which of the sculpts kind of spoke to me. They are all quirky and fun, but I love the ginormous teeth and squinty eye on this one. Reaching for the dark, neutral gray, I covered the teeth, making sure to leave black in between each of the teeth. I mixed in some bright neutral gray and started building the volumes. Rather than building each layer with solid, opaque layers, I played around with applying thin lines, leaving larger gaps between the lines at the base of each tooth and having them converge at the point, which left solid layers at each of the points. As I added more bright neutral gray, I continued applying these thin lines, covering slightly less of each tooth towards the base. I continued in this manner, adding more bright neutral gray, finishing up the highlights with a mix of bold titanium white and bright neutral gray. had a lot of fun drawing these thin lines on these massive teeth. They look kind of awesome, and it's fairly easy to replicate. The most important things are to use a brush with a nice, sharp tip. Dilute the paint so it flows freely from the bristles, and control the amount of paint on the brush. You want thin lines, not to flood the entire area with paint. Moving on to the mushrooms on the base, I decided they should be purple because purple is awesome. Grabbing the dark purple again, I slapped it over the mushrooms. Like with the bottom lip, I mixed in pale yellow, only this time the brightest points were pure pale yellow, to desaturate the overall appearance even further. On the base, I added some water to Vallejo earth texture, to make it easier to brush on the base, and gave it plenty of time to dry. Once it had dried, I covered it all with pale yellow. Then I kind of screwed up, but I just went with it. Right here, I'm slapping on some Gryph-Charger Grey contrast paint. I had it intended for this to be Black Templar. Whoops. So I just blended in some of that while the gray was still wet. Then a quick dry brush of bright, warm gray, and we had a fun, toothy squig. Well, there you go, a quick and fun squig. What do you think? Are you pro squig? Let me know in the comments below. So the burning questions. Was this fun? Was this something I was missing? And for sure, 100%, yes. I had a blast, and I could absolutely paint an entire army of these bouncy, toothy, forever hungry fellas. Good thing they had a recent glow up. Now, I'm not saying I wasn't enjoying my hobby time, but having a little more fun has injected a bunch of creativity and energy, and who doesn't want that? So if you've been feeling maybe a little flat, try something just for fun. Maybe paint a squig. Then tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it. As always, if you made it this far, you are an absolute legend. While you're here, hit that like button. It tells the almighty algorithm that this is all right. And if you want to see more of this, hit that subscribe as well. Thanks for watching. You are awesome. And I'll see you in the next one. Really leaning into the Canadian stereotypes today. Toque, Tim Hortons should really have a denim jacket.